always feel like you're like in Uber Jersey when you've got Born to Run is sort of the song that you go into.
That's kind of about right.
Right? You feeling Jersey, mate?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, if I come out to Jersey, I mean, I expect them to play Born to Run.
Thank you. So it's great to see you.
It's
Meatloaf
nice to see you.
in our WDHA studios. Come on, everybody. Give it something else.
Nothing like forcing them to applaud. I love that. Yeah.
No one's forcing them to applaud. You are. When I heard you were coming in, I was so excited. And I kind of almost didn't know where do we start? Where do we start?
You know where you start? You start right at the beginning.
Really?
Yeah,
Like the beginning now or the beginning?
The beginning right now.
All right.
You know how you start with the beginning now?
Tell me.
By saying, me, I hear you have a new album coming out next week.
You ready? All right, cue me. You ready?
Yeah.
Are we ready to go?
Yeah, go.
Meet. I hear you have a new record coming out on Tuesday called Hang Cool Teddy Bear. Is that true?
That's exactly right. And do you know what it's based on? It's a concept album.
Really?
Based on, well, first let me tell you who it's produced by.
I know who it is.
Yeah, Rob Cavallo. Now, a lot of people go, Rob Cavallo, well, just let me tell you, I bet you got a lot of his records because he's produced Dave Matthews' last record, Paramore, Goo Goo Dolls, Green Day.
Shinedown, a band we played here. He's Kid Rock.
Shinedown.
He's
Kid
all over.
Rock,
He's everywhere.
Adam
Lambert. He did the Adam Lambert record.
It was this other Jersey, from Jersey.
My Chemical Romance.
Oh, Chemical Romance.
Yeah.
All I could do is Black Parade in my head.
Yeah,
for a
right.
second.
That was the record.
Well,
right.
yeah, I was just seeing the black guys, the little parade guys. So anyway, so that you've got some Rob Cavallo, and Rob Cavallo obviously makes rock records. So what would you say Hang Cool Teddy Bear might be? It's not a bunch of ballads, I can tell you that.
No, it's not.
No,
it's not.
And I've said if you like Meatloaf records in the past, about 87% of you are going to love this record. In fact, probably more than love this record. And the other 13% are traditionalists and want to hear me sing a ballad, and they're not going to like it as much.
Well,
but
let me tell you though, I
don't
feel
care.
like this is
fine. Be that way.
I feel like this is a meat record though, because when you listen to these songs, it sounds like you're. First of all, and stop me if I'm wrong. I could be totally wrong. You sounded to me on this record like you had a great time making it. True or false?
I'm speechless on this one. I've never had so much fun in the studio in my life.
Wow.
In fact, every other time I've ever recorded in the last 18,000 years, it's felt this way. Every day a dentist comes in and pulls my teeth out. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the day sews them back in so he has a chance to pull them back out the next day I go in the studio. And that's been what it is. And people go, don't you have to go to the studio today? Yeah, I'm going. This record, I would get up in the morning and go, I got to go.
But why would that be? Would that be because maybe you've got that producer who sort of is doing it, and you guys get into the whole mixing it up thing? Or?
Yeah, because it's Rob Cavallo and Rob Cavallo. I walk into Rob Cavallo. Rob Cavallo and we're not doing a Rob Cavallo record. All the other producers tend to go, well, my name's on this record too, so I have to. Rob Cavallo goes, we're not doing a Rob Cavallo record. We're making a Meatloaf record.
Interesting.
And we're making the Meatloaf record that you've always wanted to make.
Wow. So do you feel you've made that, don't you?
I have made that record, wow. And let me tell you something else that I guarantee no artist has ever probably said to you walking into this room.
Hit me.
Okay. I would not change a single thing on this record, on Hang Cool Teddy Bear.
See,
I'm that excited about it, and I'm that passionate about it. And I've never been emotionally attached to a record the way I'm attached to this one. And I mean, all 13 songs are spectacular. They're so well. The characters are so well established and well written. And they're right there, and it's like not since Bat Out of Hell have I felt that you can actually do so well as putting yourself into the story as you can with Hang Cool Teddy Bear. That's what was so great about Bat, is people were able to really put themselves right in those situations. And I believe that you can put yourself into these situations as well.
Well, this record tells a short story. Bring us into that a little bit. Tell us what the story is. And you know what else I noticed too? If you really don't know what the story is, it kind of doesn't matter, does it?
It doesn't matter. But it is based on a short story by Killian Kerwin, which is a screenwriter in L.A. And it's about a soldier who's dying, and his life flashes forward instead of backwards. and it's the story's well established once you know the story. The first song tells you what the situation is. The first line of the opening, well, goodbye, my friends, it was good to know you. And then he starts to feel a lot of self-pity, and then he's fighting, because he's fighting for his life at that point. Mm-hmm. And then his life starts to go forward. But at that point, what happens is each story is a different woman, but it's really the same. It's a different woman with the same face. And that's what he keeps saying. And so he's kind of an outlaw. In fact, he is an outlaw, but he's not the kind of outlaw that would hold up a convenience store. He's more like he sends his girlfriend in, tells her to unbutton her blouse a little bit, and he sticks Twinkies in his bag. But he's that. They think they're real outlaws. I've got my mama's gun. You got your daddy's liar smile, and we'll be the only sinners left alive. And then the next thing, he's thrown into hell, which is Los Angeles. And he becomes this real subservient boy toy to this prima donna would-be actress.
Yeah, I saw the video. There's a really cool video.
Yeah,
for
the guy's in the hospital at that point. See, that's what it is. We're seeing his nightmare. And I'm kind of playing the antagonist and the defender. I don't want to say good and evil, because it's more of an antagonist. The red guy in the red suit is an antagonist. He's telling him, see what you're doing? You're doing this, see? And you thought you'd be doing that. And the other guy's going, leave him alone, I'm protecting him. And so it's a great song. You going to play this?
I think so, because you set it up so well. I can't imagine not playing it. So let's play it.
Yeah, and you could go in the middle of it it's full of self-pity. But I didn't do the middle part that way. So.
Meatloaf, Hank Cool Teddy Bear, in stores Tuesday. Let's check out Los Angeloser. 105.5 WDHA, the Rock of New Jersey. By the way, if you're just tuning in, that was actually Meatloaf talking a little bit about the song there on the tail end, because he's live in studio with us.
That's right, I am, and I'm so happy to be here.
We're so happy to have you. Hank Cool Teddy Bear, by the way, the new CD. I think it's like your 11th or your 8 millionth or something.
I have no idea.
In stores on
You know
Tuesday.
what, I just kind of do them, and I don't count the last one, so I don't know. If you don't count the last one, I don't know how many you get.
So let's talk about, you had so many people on this record with you. I'm going to call them like your contingency more of friends, because they weren't really guest musicians. You know all these people, you hang with them. Jack Black and Hugh Laurie was on this, and Steve Vai, Brian May, and Kara from American Idol, and who else?
Well, the funniest one, I think, is Hugh Laurie, because I did a House episode.
You were great.
And he was such a warm human being and so giving an actor. I mean, at one point we did a take, and I thought it was a really good take, and he thought it was a really good take. That's not the take they used, though. But the director wanted this other take with this long, dramatic pause in it, which I thought was big enough to drive a truck through. And they used it for the commercial, and I kept going, oh, man, why are they doing that? It's too big of a hole. And so, anyway, that's the one, it was the television dramatic pause moment. And but he screamed out, it doesn't get any better than that. And I mean, that's how he was the whole time. And so I thought one day, I wonder if he would have fun playing the piano. So I just wrote a little note to his assistant, and I gave him a song, and which we didn't record, but that's beside the point. And that's all I was going to ever say to him, because there's nothing worse than coming up to him going, did you get the song? What'd you think?
Right,
you want to play? You want to play? What do you think? Huh? And it's like, people punch you for doing that kind of stuff. And so the next day, I come in, and he comes, the hallway's pretty long. He comes walking down the hall with his arms wide open going, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? I'd love to. Wow. And I go, yeah. So we just exchanged emails and went on from there.
Wow. So is it like when you go into the studio, is it like you're just jamming with your friends, with all these people that you've known?
It was on this record. I mean, Rob Cavallo has a way, and I heard you when the track was playing say, everybody that comes in that's worked with Rob says the same thing about him, because he instills this confidence in you.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't felt that much confidence in 25 years about what I've been doing. I mean, I felt like he made me feel like Superman, that I could go and basically do anything, and it was going to be correct, and it was going to be right. And He paid me the biggest compliment, though. He did a Billboard article, and the biggest compliment he paid me, and his father's been in the business a long time and managed big acts, and now runs the Disney records. And Rob started in Warner Brothers, kind of an intern, kind of AR, and his first job was Ozzy, but he said in Billboard magazine that Meatloaf has more rock and roll in his bones than anybody he's ever met.
Wow.
And the other compliment he paid me, which I think is a compliment, Meatloaf is an actor who acts like he can sing. And between those two, yes, because I am a rock actor.
Well, you know, you've always kind of taken that classic rock sound and sort of pushed it into a different level, I think.
Yeah,
so,
because I started, I started as an actor in high school, and so it was like I played football and was and in the musicals, and the baseball coach, we won't tell you what he said over the air, but it was not kind to anyone.
Aww.
And he threw me off the baseball team because I chose to. Well, basically, I didn't choose to. When he confronted me like that, the rock in me, the rebel in me, told him to go take, not in these so many words, told him to take a hike.
Yeah, you told him.
I said, you're not going to tell me what to do. You go take a hike, dude. And no, it's just always been that way. And I've always done story songs. I've always, unlike Rod Stewart, where I couldn't necessarily sing, "Do you think I'm sexy and you want my body?" That wasn't something I could necessarily get away with, in all circles. And so I went the other route, and I've always had a female to play off of. It's always Beauty and the Beast kind of thing. So I learned that a long time ago, and I've used it my whole life. So what the hell's wrong with that?
Well, let me tell you, by the way, just for the record, you look amazing now. You look great.
Well, now I can sing. Do you think I'm sexy and do you want my body? Yeah, now I can sing that.
So in addition to the friends you worked with, tell me about your drummer. You got a great drummer on
Yeah,
this
well, John Michelli out in Long Island, and Rob unleashed him. It's like, because we've brought him in the studio before, and the producers go, "No, I want to use this guy," and other producers come along, and they don't want to. They're bound and determined they're going to use who they're going to use, and they're not going to let anybody else prove them wrong. Well, Rob, I said I want to use my drummer, and Rob, I said, "Look, if he's not right for you on the first 2 tracks, we'll move on to whoever you want to go." And after 2 tracks, Rob goes, "Are you kidding me? This kid's great."
Yeah.
And he's not really a kid, but because Rob just said to him, "Don't worry about what I'm thinking. You play what you're thinking." And that's the kind. I saw Rob make Steve Vai a better guitar player,
right?
And you don't get much better than Steve Vai,
right.
And Brian May, and these people, everybody. Jack came in, and Rob just opened Jack up, and Jack was in there just like. Jack Black,
yeah.
Who's been a friend of mine, and I did Tenacious D with him, and we sang together. And when he was teaching me the song, the Dust Brothers, who produced the Tenacious D record, said, "You guys should sing together." But I've never had anything for Jack to sing until this came along, and I went, "This is perfect." And he came out, and it was great. He sang till he couldn't sing anymore.
Wow.
And he's going, "I can't do it anymore. It's so high," but. We complement each other so well. It's Like a Rose is the name of that song, and it's fantastic.
Should we play that?
I think you should.
I think we'll play that. We'll come back, and you're going to be doing a little bit of touring too.
Oh yeah, we're going to be doing touring, and we're going to be
that.
doing the song you just heard, Los Angeles, and we're going to be doing this one. Jack won't be there, but that's okay. I've got this incredible piano player. An alien piano player from another planet. I've never heard anybody play as well as him, and he's going to sing Like a Rose with me, and he almost sounds like Jack. So play a little Jack Black here.
Let's do it. It's Like a Rose from Hang Cool Teddy Bear. It is Meatloaf live in studio at DHA.
I am in love with this
You
record.
were into it. I saw you.
I am so into this. This is all 13 songs. I've heard, usually when you make a record, you'll make the record, and you'll listen to the mixes, and you'll take them in your car, and you listen to, that's where you go to judge mixes, at least I do, in the car, and you make your adjustments, and then you master, and then they get the test, and you listen to them, and you might listen once or twice and make some more little adjustments, and then you're done. I've heard this album 150 times. I sit, I go in the hotel room, and I'm getting ready. I'm going, I got nothing to do. I'm gonna listen to the record, and I just keep listening to it. Peace on Earth, Living on the Outside, Like a Rose. And it just gets Song of Mad. I mean, it just keeps going.
See, that's got to be a great feeling, though. You made it, you listen to it, and then you don't go, I should have done this. I should have done that.
No, there's not a single thing I'd change on this record. Nothing. And that's really hard to say. And I've listened over and over and over again.
And you are a perfectionist.
Oh, I'm past perfectionist.
Huge.
Because I hear flaws and I hear mistakes, but you know what? I'm not going to change them because they're perfect inside what we're doing. And I keep listening to it, keep going, well, there must be something in here I'd change. But what happens is, the way we did it with James Michael and Rick Brantley and all these guys are with bands. James Michael, 6 a.m.
Oh, right.
Rick Brantley's got his own band. Eric Nally's in a band called Foxy Shazam.
Yep.
Jake Shearer's in a band. I can't remember his band. He's coming out in Atlantic in June, and he wrote that song. And we kind of had them all together working in July, and it was kind of like a camp. And it was like kind of rock camp.
Hang Cool Teddy Bear
It was
camp?
the Hang Cool Teddy Bear camp. And we put this together, this whole story, but I never told them what the story was, which was the most interesting part of it. And so Switchfoot.
Yep.
Well, the guy from Switchfoot came out one night for dinner. We played in the record, and he goes, God, I got to get in on this. And so he got in it. And the second verse, because all the songs, when you really start to analyze them, they start talking back to each other, and they echo the one that came from before, and they intertwine, and they
you go in one direction. You think you're going this way, then you go that way.
Yeah, they all talk back to each other, and he because I've got a song on here called "California Isn't Big Enough for Me," which, when they go, and I've been saying this, it's like if you put you bleeped out that word on that song, and then California Isn't Big Enough, there's another inappropriate word they say, so we have an explicit sticker. And I go, yeah, anytime you put something like that on a record, everybody goes, oh my gosh, can you believe what they said on that record? And meanwhile, everybody's watching The Godfather, calling it the greatest movie that ever made, and they're cutting off heads and they're shooting people, and then they go to see Friday the 13th and they're hacking up, and then they go, honey, let's get little Junior that game about mugging. Mugging 5. Let him get out on the streets of New York and mug some people. Junior, you having fun? How many people you mugged so far in that video game? Did you get them? Did you get all their money? Are they dead? And then, but the music, yeah, well, we'll let him play Mugger 5, but do not let him hear that Meatloaf record. They got them 2 swear words on there. Holy smoke. Oh, man, he's got them swear words on that record. I cannot believe it.
I actually am getting a little acting from me. This is more than I bargained for today.
And I mean, but it's just like, the most hypocritical, insane thing ever. So anyway, California Isn't Big Enough is a really funny song. And in the story, what happens, the guy is so crazy, he starts stalking and falling in love with a hooker. And that's what... But anyway, so what we did with Switchfoot, the guy, I had him rewrite the second verse for me. So the second verse comments upon the whole album. If history is violence and sex, I'd rather not pay my respects. Forgive me if I'm too direct or politically incorrect. I'm just running away from me. And so it just, I'm telling, and then John Bon Jovi.
And Johnny Bon wrote something.
Yeah, he wrote a song called Elvis in Vegas with him and Billy Falcon. And it's because Patrick in the album is 24 years old and he's the soldier, and his life on that part does flash back, even though in the story he does live, but he flashes back to when, now it doesn't say he left New Jersey, but John's from New Jersey, so I assume as I'm doing my backstory for the character that he left New Jersey and he just had to go through Memphis to get to Vegas. And I saw it through the eyes of a 15-year-old kid making his way through Memphis into Vegas. I changed a few of the lyrics, which John probably doesn't know about yet, but that's okay, because to fit the story a little bit better, and to make the kid, his eyes a little more wide open in the story. But yeah, John Bon Jovi, Elvis in Vegas, and I said to John, I said, how come you haven't recorded this? And oh, there's nobody can record this but Meatloaf. And I said, yeah, and I got some bridges in New York I'll sell you for 10 cents, John.
Well, you know what's cool too? If you really want to get kind of into the story, there are some videos that you can check out. They're actually up on YouTube. And if you Google, if you do like a Meatloaf Hang Cool Teddy Bear, you actually can see the videos, which
Los Angeles Losers, the one we've done so far,
which is cool.
But the whole thing is a screenplay, so I don't know. I'm hoping. I'm hoping we can do it. It'd be a great stage play too because it has a lot of humor in it. It wouldn't be just one-dimensional.
Well, first I want to throw out a date. July 16th, PNC Bank Arts Center Meet's going to be out touring. The shows every year, if you have not seen Meatloaf in a while, they just get better and better.
Well, this show, the guys who are putting it up, and I have no idea, but I really don't, because I just start creating what most people do when they go on stage is they carry a persona with them. But every tour, I create a different character. So it's like I try to create a different persona for every tour, and so it's still the Meatloaf thing. But now I'm gonna try to make Patrick. Well, I can play a 45-year-old woman easier than I can play a 24-year-old kid, so I'm going to try to the 45-year-old woman and the 24-year-old kid.
45-year-old.
Oh, that's a piece of cake. So I'm going to try to. Take an element of Patrick on stage with us, but they've said the LD and the sound guy and all the band, everybody, and Patty, who sings with me and been singing with me a long time.
Yep.
Her and Paul Crook, my guitar player, worked on something which is spectacular. We're going to open the show with, which is a huge surprise. It's going to be absolutely. People are going to go completely insane.
It's going to be great.
They're going to go insane. But they've saying that this is probably the best show, and it's because of my enthusiasm of what Rob has given me with this record. They said what you're putting together is probably the best show you put together in 20 years.
Wow.
So I'm excited to put it up, and it's pretty fun because I have a sense of humor and I think everything's funny. So it's pretty funny.
Wow. Well, Tuesday's the day. I mean, Tuesday's the day that
Tuesday
this is actually in stores.
And I'm telling you, you owe it to yourself to listen.
Yeah, you will not be disappointed. I mean, you will absolutely not be disappointed. There's a very cool, too, super deluxe edition that has all this cool stuff that comes along with it. And I love when CDs are released like this because it kind of reminds me of the days when we got the album. And we had things that sort of added to the character of the album.
There was about this recording that reminded me of early recording, like being in the studio in the late 60s or early 70s. I mean, we were even, one of the songs, If I Can't Have You, which Cara DiGuardia came in and wrote all the lyrics on, and I eventually we sheepishly asked her if she wanted to do a duet, and she went, yeah, sure, let's do it. And it was a funny experience between me and Rob. You ask her. No, you ask her. It was like, well, you eat it. No, I'm not going to eat that. I mean, your mom made that. I don't like that. And it was like these two little kids, like, and finally he made me ask her, and
she was like, fine.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, sounds good. And she's the only one that figured out, though, that there was something that I wasn't telling her. Because she goes, you're trying to get something out of me, and I don't know what it is, but there's something I don't know what's going on around now. I go, no, nothing.
We don't want you on a record. I'm not
kidding.
No,
because of the story, and I wouldn't tell anybody about the story. And so she did that, and it was great. And I had her. We were doing a vocal with her, and I'm saying, okay, now look, you really got to sing it like this. And she's going, I can't sing it like that. That's so far over the top. It's ridiculous. I said, trust me, on this song, it's not. And so she did it, and she went in, let's do it. She goes, wow, you're right. That's good. I said, now let's go back out and let's finish this thing up here. Because it was like so, singers are like so, they're like, I don't know what they are. I'm musically inept. And so, but singers have a different approach than I do. But I'm working on with acting coaches for the last 3 years on underplaying things, and I've done some underplaying on this record, believe it or not, folks.